morning. How are you? We enter to a new module, what is called communicative system and speaking skills. I already mentioned in the previous class, we are dealing with the LSRW, listening, speaking, reading and writing. Now this module number 4, totally covers how you can speak good English, and they have, for the convenience, they have given certain frames like frame number 1, frame number 2, frame number 3, like only almost we have to study 5 to 6 frames that which you can use in your daily communication. You know, the all-round development of total language system is based on your interest and your talent. Some people you have almost 50, 60 numbers. Some people may penetrate themselves or go far ahead themselves in a very easy way to score good in communication. Basically, you just prefer how you can read and listen beautiful English. Plenty chances, opportunities are there. You listen All India Radio news. Do you have the practice of listening radio? All India Radio, Thrissur station. You will get 9 o'clock, 2 o'clock, even early morning 8 o'clock. You can listen good English news, All India Radio news broadcasting. As well as that you read a Hindu newspaper or some Times of India newspaper every day and score good vocabulary from these newspapers and try to write in your collection of a notebook. That will be useful in future. So what I say is, individually you can excel yourself in the way of communication. That you do not worry that you are coming from Malayalam medium schools. You know, I myself studied in my Malayalam medium. And so many people are there who studied Malayalam medium and become very proficient in English language. So the thing that I would advise you, you have to work hard. You have to try yourself. The talent is different. I remember one of the small parable story that I read somewhere. You know, a parrot is very beautiful bird, right? Everybody loves it. It has almost green in color, and its beak, all right, is very red in color, and it has a particular shape. The beak of the bird has a particular shape which is not suitable and available with many other birds. But a small parrot, child parrot complaining, mother, why, unlike other birds, my beak is just like in a crooked shape, which has an ugly outlook, and everybody has a very beautiful, pointing beaks like a crow has, eagle has, so many, all other birds have very beautiful beak. And I have a beak which is in an ugly shape, may have a good color, but in an ugly shape, in a crooked shape, which is not, I cannot easily pluck things and eat. And mother tells the child parrot, may be correct, but your beak is totally different from others. God has given you in such a way that you should enjoy your life. You take eagle which has a very big beak but always eating dead bodies. You go to crow has a beak which is very pointing like a sharp gun, but it eats only worms from the field. Unlike these, you have a beak which is red in color, and you eat only beautiful fruits, and the juice of the fruit easily don't go out because your beak has a particular shape. In this story, what you understand, everybody has a different quality and a different potential, different capacity. But that you have to make use, and you will get a very good field. Even in the spoken English and communicative English, if you try and you do a work, definitely you will achieve. So that I would advise you, request your attention to frame number 1 in the conversational frame, which has a two important division of function. One has what is called transformational function. What is called transformational function? When I call somebody over telephone, I don't find that person's face as such, but I get certain replies. But the majority of the utterances I make and listen from other hand, that is called transformational. But in the other hand, we have interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication where you get people all together in your hand and you communicate to each other. A to B, X or Y, we speak and we communicate and comprehend things in the proper way. So we get interpersonal communications. For these interpersonal and transformational communications, we use different frames. As you know, English language for us is a second language, not our mother tongue. So at least we study. Example, I will tell you, all right, everybody is nowadays telling, once you sit in your study room and you are totally disturbed, all right, by mosquitoes, 99% people will say mosquitoes biting. In common good English, mosquitoes biting is not accepted. In Great Britain, people, even the school children, they would say mosquitoes are sickening me. But we generally use mosquitoes are biting, which has no mouth at all. All right, but we call mosquitoes are biting. So this way, very good way of communication to be accelerated, to be followed only by the way of practice. So that you take a decision to practice and you will get a good knowledge in the field of communication. By this attempt in this module, all right, module number 4, they present almost 4 to 5 frames which will be useful in your daily communication. Once you get your friend, how do you greet him? Once you talk to your teacher, how do you teach? How do you talk to her? How do you go to the principal's office and face a problem and explain a problem? So certain frames are given. These frames that you have to keep in mind. And first frame, they ask you to get a polite request. All right, first frame is polite request. How you can make a request forms. We request from somebody something. We request. How can we? First of all, you keep in mind, if we ask something to somebody, if we ask somebody something, all right, you can bring the nature of our inversion method first. What is the inversion method that we taught in the grammar area? What is simple thing? Once ox and mox appearing, you take ox and mox in front and make a question. That will be a request, and then add certain words of polite words like please, like that. All right. So polite request is one of the major areas of the frames of different spoken English utterances. So you keep polite request in your hand. What all they, which all the frames. We want something from others. Then how can we ask? This is the factor that we have to keep in mind. The first frame that we can see, all right, I can help, all right, you. This is a frame. We got can as a modal auxiliary, all right. Then you take into the front as we studied earlier, can I help, all right, help you, all right. Then this will be a polite request. In this way, we can make so many polite methods of request by adding certain vocabulary, certain words, either in front of the sentence or after the sentences. These are called frames, which you have to keep in mind. First one, can I help you? Can I help you? That is a polite request. Then second one, if you don't mind, you can copy down all the frames we cannot write on the board, you copy down. Second one, if you don't mind, please. Suppose we want a pen from others in the class. What would you say? If you want, you can say, can you give me your pen? That is a request, polite request. If you put it in other way, you can simply ask, if you don't mind, please give me your pen. That is also polite request. Some people say, could you give me your pen? Could you please give me your pen? So can I help you, or can you give me a pen? Could you, if you don't mind, please give me your pen. Could you please give me a pen? Then in the people sometimes we sit on the bench or on the chair. Somebody coming in a rushing manner, we can say, please have a seat. We can say, please have a seat. Otherwise, we can say, I shall be grateful. Suppose we demand something from our friends, we can say, I will be grateful, or I shall be grateful if you give me a pen. I shall be grateful if you give me a pen. That is also possible. Then, could I ask you a doubt? Some people, could I ask you a doubt? Means what? We can get a favor from others by asking several methods. One method is asking inversion method. Can I help you? That. Can I help you? That. If you don't mind, could you please? Then please have a seat. I shall be grateful if could I ask you a doubt, like that. So these are the major frames given in the textbook to get a polite request. Sometimes we use, and into the answer people say, I am afraid, I am afraid, I am fine, and how are you? With pleasure, my pleasure. Some people get, you will refer page number 93 in the textbook. They have given certain frames. Once you, suppose you ask pen from others, you can simply tell, yes, with pleasure. Suppose somebody asking you, I will be grateful if you give me a pen. Oh, with pleasure. Answer is submitted with pleasure. People say, my pleasure. I am afraid, I am fine, like several frames are kept there. So in the way, the example, you are carrying a lot of things. One situation is given in the textbook. You are carrying a lot of things, so many bags in your hand, 2-3 bags. You cannot open the door yourself. Once you reach the house or flat, you cannot open the door. There is a man standing near the door. One man is there. Then you can ask, could you open the door, please? Could you open? More polite request, right? Could you open? Because I cannot open, because I have a lot of things in my hand. Could you open the door, please? So, could you please is more acceptable method of asking request. So you keep in mind such a frame. So then suppose you are at the kitchen, all right, would you tell me where the chili powder is kept? Child or mother does not know, asking, or servant does not know, then servant asking your mother, all right, would you tell me where the chili powder is kept? Then people say, yeah, I know this, you can get it from the shelf. Or suppose you are in the hostel, could you open the window please once? Could you open? So the frame is that you use can and could. Even sometimes we use may. Getting some children going away from the class, go to toilet, we say, may I go to toilet? That is also getting a permission. So request and permission, for that we use modal auxiliaries can and could as such. So at the hospital also, once we take a kitchen, then we go to hostel, then we go to hospital. Could you tell me when the doctor will come? Could you tell me? We are asking the receptionist, we are asking the nurse, all right, could you tell me where the when the doctor will come? Then we reach hotel, can I have your menu please? We are going to order something. So 90% people use can and could to make. All right, more polite ways. All right, if you want, you can copy down. All right, more methods and polite methods by which we use. Would you lend me your pen? Would. We start would. Instead of could and can, we can also use more polite request would. All right, would you lend me your pen? All right, then would. After that we use could. That already explained could. Then the second method, I shall be grateful. All right, that is a method. I shall be grateful if you give me your pen. Okay, then would you mind? All right, that is a frame. Then some people more officially telling, will it bother if he accompanies me? People asking permission and request. Will it bother you? Will it bother you if he accompanies me? Will it bother? That is the method. Will it bother? May I use your mobile? We want somebody's help to call somebody, then we ask permission or request. May I use your mobile? All right. Sorry to bother you. Some people asking. All right. Once we are in a rush, we ask, sorry to bother you, give me your pen to write. We can say, that is a frame, sorry to bother you. Is it okay if he uses your mob? All right, suppose we got a mob from others, we would say, is it okay if you give me your pen or if you give me your mob? So these are the important frames. What is the totality in its nature? Totality in its nature is to get either permission or we get a favor from others. So these are the important methods that you have to keep in mind for asking request. That is given in the frame number 1. So keep in mind what is frame number 1 given in the textbook. All right, given in the textbook, it is given in the textbook, especially page number 94 and 95, table number 1. Then you copy down more polite expressions given there, lot of more polite expressions, and instead of its work is answer is also either positive or negative given on the right side. For example, lot of would you lend me your pen please? Then normally that spontaneously answer coming, certainly. What is the question? Would you lend me your pen? Answer, certainly. People say, of course. People say, why not? With pleasure. Why? Pleasure. Like my pleasure. Like that. So answer is also very spontaneous. Would you? Could you? I shall be grateful. do you think, would you mind, like plenty expressions given there. It's a sudden answer given on the right side that you have to keep in mind. All right, so exercise number 1 and 2 all the same. So what did we study there? We study certain steps are given there, certain frames are given there in order to ask a request from others. We want to get a request from others something. So there are certain frames which are given. So I gave you some frames which would be useful for asking a favor. For that purpose, we visited kitchen, hospital, hostel and hotel, and we requested something. Normally we come to frame number 2. So first frame was asking request. Then we go to second frame. All right, what is called frame 2? Simple thing, frame 2, asking opinion and preferences. So only very few topics you have to study here. Opinion and preferences. All right. First one was request. Polite request. Second is called how can you tell your opinion? How can you tell your preference? That is the method. For example, we have agreement, disagreement, preferences. There are 3. Suppose a discussion going on there. Some people's dispute going on there. We will say I agree. Some people say disagree. Some people say if it is done in this way it would be better. So there are so many frames by which we show our agreement or our disagreement or our preferences. All right. So certain frames that you can copy down for showing opinion and frames. 1. I think it has pros and cons. Attending a dispute or attending a heated discussion, somebody asking you what is your opinion, then you can say I think it has pros and cons. What is meaning of pros? Merit and demerit. So it is called opinion. All right, we give our opinion. Yeah, whatever the problem is going on or discussion is going on there, okay. But you know, it has pros. I think it has merits and demerits. In my view, it is better to postpone it. Some people would advise. It is, in my view, it is better to postpone. It is not a bad idea. Some people would give opinion. Whether some people, 2-3 people are trying to reach Himalayas. And you can say, it is not a bad idea. All right, you give your opinion. It is not a bad idea. It is not worth effort. Some people say, it is not worth effort. I would like your opinion. Some people ask, I would like your opinion. All right, could you give me your views? You can ask. Suppose you want an opinion from others. You can simply ask, could you give me your opinion regarding X and or Y or regarding something? Could you give me your opinion? People ask. Do you think going shopping on Sunday a good idea? All right, that is the preference. You prefer Sunday for shopping. People say, do you think going shopping on Sunday? Why can't you go on Saturday? Why can't you go on Monday? People say Sunday. That is called preference. All right. So once we give opinion, a plain answer is given there. But in the preferences, a particular point is shown there. Do you think going shopping on Sunday a good idea? Preference. The second frame given, the way I see it is different from yours. So there is a dispute, a debate, heated discussion going on. Somebody asking somebody's opinion. Some people say, the way I see it, means the way I look at it, is different from yours. Your angle of Your point of view is different from my point of view. In my angle of view, in my angle, that is a different thing. In your angle, that is totally maybe different. So that is also preference. So for the purpose of preference, you can say like this: I would rather study French than German. Look, I would rather study French than German. Means what? That is also preference. I don't want to study German, but I prefer to study French. Means preference. So the preference and opinion shows, because it has a certain frames that you study that. I think. First one is I think. It has pros and cons. Means I think it has merit and demerit. In my view, that is another fact, another method. In my view, it is better to postpone. Giving my opinion, in my view. So underline that, in my view, better to postpone. That will be correct. It is not a bad idea. Whatever you said is not a bad idea, may be correct. It is not a bad idea. It is not worth the effort, people say. I would like your opinions. Could you give me your views? Could you give me your views? Then could you give me your views? Do you think going shopping on Sunday, a particular day is preferred there? We call for preference. The way I see it is different from yours. That is a very common use. The way I see it is different from yours. So disagreement, agreement. Suppose X and Y telling a debate or discussion, that we can say it is not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing. Disagreement, I beg to differ. It has a position preference. The way I see it is different from yours. So once we get a preference, we say the way I see, the way I prefer, it is different from yours. I beg to differ. Suppose we differ with the opinion of others, we can say I beg to differ. You can say that again, mean emphatic agreement. You can say that again. Alright, is the most beautiful. Suppose people say Arya is the most beautiful girl. Okay, some people say, you can say that once again. Means what? I agree. You can say that once again. People say, I tell you, that is once again. Means what? Agreed, totally agreed, you are right. So people say, Arya is the most beautiful girl in the class. People say, you can say that again. Means, okay, it is very easy. So what all things we studied? Today we studied two frames. One is request, means polite request. Certain frames are given in the textbook with certain examples I pointed out. Second one is opinion and preferences, for which all the frames that we studied. So we will get page number 96 or 97 or 99. In the old book it is given in the 99 page. Agreement, disagreement, preferences. For that you can copy down the statements there, and also one beautiful exercise. Example we say, all right, there you have, it is not a bad idea. Suppose you get a frame like, it is not a bad idea. Means it is your opinion. You correct your opinion. That is given in page number 100. So one example, even 101, it is given certain jumbled words that had been taught in the transaction grammatical area. You get jumbled shaped words that you to reorganize, put it as plus V plus O, then find the correct answer. Very, very simple exercise given there in page number 101. Example, no reason I can see two opposite. No reason I can see two opposite. That you have to put it in logical way. I can see no reason to opposite. They have given no reason. I can see to oppose it. So you have to put it in logical way. I can see no reason to oppose. All right, then find out what type of is it for ascend or descend or priorities, what is called preferences. Like that you have to do. Now going to the third frame, that we will do it in the next class. Third frame. Alright, so we studied two frames for common daily use frames. One is request, one is giving opinion. That you practice and come to the next class. Till then, goodbye.